this ever happened to you before?
It's very familiar to me.
Bud Hopkins, a successful artist and self-appointed abduction expert, is using hypnotic regression to help this woman recall her experience of alien abduction.
Suddenly there's this light that opens up from the bottom. We move into the light and we float up into the ship.
The size of this is enormous, and that's one of the most disturbing things about it, because it works against its credibility, that it can be so many people. How can so many people be involved? But when we did a survey through the Roper organization using questions that were indicative of abduction experiences. For instance, have you ever seen balls of light inside your bedroom or in your house? Have you ever lost a period of an hour or more? You had no idea where you were or how or why it happened. And we said that people would have to have said yes to 4 out of 5 of these indicator questions, these symptoms, to suggest that they are likely to have had abduction experiences, and that worked out to 2% of the population.
It was in December of '91, and I was returning to the farm from visiting my family, lived about 50 miles away. And I had seen something very strange in the sky. It looked like an airplane that was in trouble, and it was much too low, but it was sufficiently alarming for me to need to pull off the road to have a better look at it. I was suddenly then uncomfortable, and I wanted to run, but I couldn't move. In the blink of an eye, I was surrounded by light, and I remembered nothing. My next conscious memory was being back in the vehicle, which I had parked and left on the side of the road, 5 miles away from where I had been, driving around the corner, going much too fast on 2 wheels.
A few years ago, near Edinburgh, 2 friends, Colin and Gary, were driving along when they saw an object hovering above the road.
It was black and shiny in colour. It had a distinct metallic look about it. It looked a solid craft of some form. Whatever it is, I've no idea.
It was just there. We had no choice but to go underneath it. So we basically just went for it.
So I crashed the gearbox in my car down into 2nd gear. I accelerated like mad. I must have picked up to about 50, 60 mile an hour. There was no way I was stopping. Just as we were going underneath the object, you could start to make out the bottom of it, and it dropped like a shimmering curtain of light. And then suddenly, I'm not in my car. I'm thinking, where's my car? Where's Colin? And I'm looking all around about me, and I'm like in a void of blackness, and I'm thinking, where am I? And then just sitting looking about, I thought, am I dead?
When we started looking into one case after another and found that what the people remembered consciously was a pretty traumatic abduction experience, which then intersected with dreams that they had had, as they explained, well, I used to dream about that thing afterwards, etc. You begin to find the evidence accumulating that these are real experiences.
We'd wake up with scratches.
Just scratches.
New scars on our bodies. In fact,
missing
we got
contact lenses.
Oh. Wake up with your eyes completely shut. You couldn't open them because your corneas were scratched.
Bloody noses.
Yeah, a lot of blood on the pillow. We wake up with
Bloody,
grass in the
blood
bed.
in the ears.
Dirty feet when you knew you'd taken a shower the night before.
It's wonderful.
In Virginia, Beth and Anna contacted Bud Hopkins. Under hypnosis, they relived their experiences and made drawings of their encounters.
The only part that seemed real was this.
Most psychologists think alien abduction is fantasy, but Bud Hopkins thinks the similarities between the claims proves they're true.
The figures turn up, small figures with large heads and huge black eyes, The person is then floated out of wherever they are, through the windshield of the car, through the window of the house, and up usually some kind of beam of light into the craft. They are calmed down all the time. You'll be all right. You won't be hurt. They're put on a table, and there's a systematic series of physical procedures that take place that finally end up concentrating on the reproductive organs, especially removing ova samples from women and sperm samples from men.
In Scotland, Colin and Gary also underwent hypnosis.
And I saw these three creatures coming up towards the vehicle of the car. And I couldn't move. And I just absolute terror in my face. And then suddenly I'm in some form of place, like a room or somewhere, and I'm on a platform. And I could see that I had no clothes on, and there seemed to be these creatures. There was small ones and big ones, and it's like they were interested in the physical aspects of my body.
I have memories of the aliens taking fetuses from my body, of showing me the fetuses. They are obviously children of some sort. They do not look wholly human. They do not look wholly alien. There's a possibility they could be some sort of species cross, although with what I know of biology, that makes it hard to accept that. But I also believe that they may be thoroughly human, but
Genetically altered in some way.
Genetically altered in some
After.
way. And just raised, gestated outside the womb.
At Harvard University, Professor of Psychiatry John Mack has invited controversy and ridicule by taking alien abduction seriously.
If you meet with the people themselves, you realize that they're people who are quite healthy. These ideas, even though they're outlandish to us, they are distinguished from delusion by the fact that the people themselves question this. They doubt it. They have an appropriate attitude toward the phenomenon.
If it's a fantasy, it's the wrong fantasy. I want a fun fantasy. I don't want one that scares me, and I don't want one that I can't explain, and I don't want one that I can't tell my next door neighbor about.
We have to get over the ridicule, the automatic dismissal of this, and we have to be open-minded enough to say, let's look into it. Because if this is true, it's the biggest event in human history.
I know what I saw, and I know what I saw was real. I didn't care what anybody says. I would just like an answer to it all.
This phenomenon suggests, A, we're not the highest intelligence in the universe, and B, in a certain sense, we're not alone.